And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Allen Americans podcast, and happy to have with me in the podcast number 14, coming to us from his beautiful home in Michigan, right? That's the one and only Les Lancaster. Les, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, Tommy. How are you?
Fabulous. For quarantine, man, can't complain here. It's crazy. I know none of us, I don't think, saw all this happening when we heard about, the craziness going on in the world. And we thought we'd be able to get our season over with and hopefully have a long playoff run. But Utah is where it stopped. And, man, wow, what has changed since then, huh?
Yeah, I know. It's been pretty crazy. I guess when this, first started, nobody really thought it would turn into what it has. But, it's kind of tough. You just kind of got to adapt to the situation and just kind of take it day by day and, see where things go. But, for the most part, I've been doing pretty good here in Michigan. I got no complaints. So it's, like I said, just got to kind of find some stuff to do day in and day out and just kind of adapt daily.
So what is your routine? What are you sleeping in a little bit later? What are you watching on TV? Tell me it's not Tiger King. Just give me the rundown.
I'm not gonna lie, I have been sleeping in a little later than I probably should, but I try to get up. I try to get some breakfast in me and then get a workout in for the day and try to just do something in the morning and after that get some lunch, maybe shower up and just kind of find something to kill my time. I've been golfing a little bit the last couple days, which is nice. Supposed to golf again tomorrow. So, being able to get outside, obviously got my rollerblades. So been trying to shoot some pucks, stay a little active on the skates just in case if the AHL season does resume and all that. So just, trying to be sharp. I've tried to cook a little bit more too. So, just like I said, just trying to learn some new skills and just kind of keep myself productive and active.
Well, you had a great rookie season here in Allen. Unbelievable. 27 points, 34 games. And I'll tell you what, when you went up, your first call up, you were leading the league in points at that. I think you had 13 when you went up to the AHL. Talk about your great start and what turned out to be a fabulous rookie year for you.
Yeah, it's obviously in Allen, I got off to a really good start, but I think a lot of that has to do with Marty and his style of play. It really suits my game. He likes a defenseman that can move the puck, and skate. And obviously we had the teammates around me to help me play my game too. Obviously being top 2, top 3 in the league. We were such a good team and. It helps me just play my game and all that. But like I said, Marty's style of play really suited me, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. So,
yeah, it really was a unbelievable year, and we all feel a bit cheated. I think we all saw a long playoff run, and just look at our defensive crew that we had. I think by far, bar none, the best defensive unit we've ever had in my 11 years with the Allen Americans, and that's saying a lot. We've had some really good players, but you name it, yourself, Filkovsky, Alex Breton, some other young players that were in the mix as well. It was really you guys were a really solid group from day one, and I think, they say that it starts from the back, and if you've got a good defensive group there in front of our goaltender, we're going to play well, and we did.
Yeah, when we were all healthy and, we could put all 6 defensemen out on the ice, I thought we were very tough to beat. Brett's was, easily probably the best defenseman all year. And he was rewarded, for that. He's played so good all year. And then Falcon, I'm pretty sure he led all defensemen in goals for the year. And then Sades, he kind of got off to a slow start, but he was playing really well. Especially when I was gone, I think that helped, the team too, and Sades and his confidence and all that. Because he started playing really well towards the end of the year. And then, Detzel, even though he wasn't on the score sheet all that much, that guy was probably the glue to our back end. We all kind of rallied around him playing defense and all that. And, I don't know, we were a really good defensive core. So.
Yeah, and don't forget about Ottenbright. He was one of those guys who was there early in the year, and That's just, it's amazing how many really solid defensemen we had. And I think, as you mentioned, we had a great mix there. We had the great offensive guys like yourself, and we had the Detsies and the Ottenbrights, Cal Detzel, who was obviously a beast in front of the net. So yeah, it really was a great unit. Talk about your friendship and your longtime relationship with Josh Lamon, and you two guys are inseparable. You were roommates on the road. We always called you guys the Mercyhurst connection, and going back to your days playing there in Pennsylvania. Talk about that long-term friendship, and isn't it crazy how you guys both ended up in Allen?
Yeah, it's it's a pretty interesting relationship, to say the least. I mean, definitely not a lot of people have gotten to do what we've done together. It started when we were 18 years old, playing here in Michigan on Victory Honda AAA. We played a year of midget major together. That's when we first met. And the following year, we both signed to the North American League for the Springfield Junior Blues. And, previously playing on the same team, we got selected to live in the same billet house as well. And, so we both played 2 years in Springfield, and we lived together there for 2 years. And we both ended up committing to Mercyhurst. And, then, we both went to Mercyhurst as well. And, the freshman dorms, you have, it's just you and your roommate. So Josh and I lived together again there. And so we were roommates there for our freshman year. And then we moved into an apartment together for our sophomore and junior year. So, we lived together for, 6 years now. And obviously when I transferred to Denver, that was our first year apart, after a while and whatnot. And, our first year pro, he started the year out in Florida, and, I was in Allen. And I think like a week and a half in, he gives me a call, and he's like, man, you're not going to guess where I just got traded to. I'm like, oh boy, where? He goes, Allen. I'm like, oh, no way. Probably had the biggest smile on my face and all that. And he got traded, and he ended up being my roommate in Allen as well. And, with Ottenbright being called up most of the year, it was just him and I in the house. So, we were living together again. It's a very unique situation, but I'm happy that I've got to experience it with him for sure.
And talking about a great second half of the year, I remember early on, he's like, Tommy, I'm just snake bitten. I can't get anything to go in. And wow, how did things turn around for him in the second half? He wound up with 27 points, 8 goals, 19 assists, scored some really big goals, including a game winner in Tulsa on a Sunday afternoon. We won't forget that. He was happy. And he told me, he said, obviously when you have friends in the locker room and you guys are like two peas in a pod, it's basically it helps. It helps because, you can, if you are struggling, you got somebody you can lean on and talk to, somebody that knows him very, very well. What do you think was his biggest difference second half of the year when his numbers started going up?
Honestly, I think with Josh, especially myself, it's we're pretty funny like that. I think we're our hardest critics of ourselves. We typically watch video together and critique one another. And, I think just for him, it's his confidence. You see one go in and, then two goes in, you start to get that confidence up. You might get a little bit more trust out of Marty too, to put you in some of those situations. And especially when you deliver and all that, I mean, it's hard not to, get that confidence going. And once you just get rolling, it comes to you. And it's funny. We're in a group chat with a couple of our other college guys, that we played with. And, we were saying, he's the best player in the league right now because he was on such a hot streak there for a few games and, just kind of messing with him and whatnot. But no, it was really good to see him succeed. I mean, I knew he had it in him. And, I think just, for him to get the confidence and actually see it coming and producing was a huge thing for him.
What memories, or maybe some of your favorite memories from this year, stick out? And I know there was a bunch. I mean, obviously when you have as many points and have as many wins as the Allen Americans did this year, there's going to be a lot of big games and a lot of fun nights, ride home on the bus from wherever, Wichita, Kansas City, Tulsa. But give me some of your top moments that stick out from this past season.
It's kind of funny. I was actually thinking about this earlier, and I would honestly say like some of the best memories probably aren't even at the hockey rink. I mean, we had such a good group of guys that it was always fun to be around them. I mean, whether we were just going out for a few drinks or just hanging out on the bus. I mean, I honestly think it was the behind the scenes stuff that, the fans and all that don't see. That was probably the most fun. I don't know, like I said, just going out and just getting to know your teammates and having fun, I don't know, I think that's probably what's going to be the most memorable. Obviously we had some team events that was a lot of fun too, interacting with the fans and whatnot. But I mean, hockey wise, it's kind of, I mean, obviously as my first year pro, it's going to be very special, but I don't know, the group of guys we had in the locker room, it was a lot of fun to be around them every day. So I think that's probably what's going to be most memorable.
And how often do you play the what if game? If we could only, we got to play a playoff game or two. And I really believe, and I may be a bit biased because I was around these guys all year, but I've seen this team win 4 championships, 4 in a row. And I knew the makeup that we had with those championship teams, back 13, 14, 15, 16. And I saw that again this year. We were missing that for a couple of years, 2, 3 years, but it definitely had that feeling, what you need to win a championship this year. And that's, I think, the most disappointing for me. I know there's no guarantees on anything, but I really believe that this group was going to be there if given the chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly frustrating. I think that's probably the best word for it. I mean, especially for us players. I mean, we worked so hard all year, and we were one of the best teams in the league. And you kind of look at it how, if playoffs were to go on, how we would have stacked up and all that. We felt really strong about getting out of our division and at least making it to the semifinals. And I know, seeing who we would play. I mean, obviously there's a lot of other good teams too in the league, and credit to them. But at the same time, we felt like we had one of the best teams, and our style of play really suited us. And exactly, you can't really, it's hard to play the what if game, but we felt in the locker room like we would have had a really good team and definitely make a potential run at a championship.
Absolutely. And as we pointed out before we went on the broadcast, if you see the background there, you see number 14 jersey hanging in the locker, very appropriate for our interview here this afternoon. Well, I personally want to thank you because both you and Joshua Lamon were always willing to help out whenever needed. And there were many times this year, hey, Les, can you help me out? Whatever, we've got this going on or whatever. And you guys were always the first to volunteer to be there. And believe you me, it means a lot. It shows a lot of the character that both of you guys have and the athletes and the great human beings that you are. So thanks again for making your rookie year fun for me too. I enjoyed hanging out with you boys on the road. It was always a lot of fun. Tell your mom, Debbie, she was one of your biggest supporters. I heard from her literally every game on Twitter. She would send me a message. So tell Debbie we said hello. I never met your dad, but I want to share this with our fans who don't know. There is another Les Lancaster. And of course, Les's dad played for the Cubs back in the day, started in 87, right? 87 through 91 were his years with the Cubbies. Does he have any great stories about his Cubbies years?
Yeah. I'm sure he's got quite a few. I mean, it's, obviously getting to that level, you make a lot of memories and all that. So it's, yeah, there's probably quite a few stories I could share. So.
Well, thank you again for doing this. I appreciate it. I know fans, excited to hear from number 14 and, look forward to seeing you hopefully sooner than later. And if it does get going again, we'll be watching you playing hockey here hopefully soon. So best of luck to you, Les.
Yeah, thanks, Tommy. I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me and all that. And, wishing everybody out there listening, hopefully they're staying safe and healthy and all that. And, hopefully the season can resume. And if not, we'll see you next year. So.
Absolutely. Number 14, ladies and gentlemen, Les Lancaster.